Hey guys, Tim here, aka FC21, and today I bring you the draft recap for Season 3 of the Mighty Mythical Colosseum. There's this third season. They made the tournament a bit bigger with a jump from 16 to 20 teams. And I'm lucky enough to make the roster of coaches. And overall I got third spot in the drafting process of 20, so I was pretty fast in the ranking order there. And let's just jump into what I have drafted for this season. First up, like I said, I was number 3 and I was hoping to get a Dragapult, but the number 2 had the same exact idea and drafted it before me, so I had Gouging Fire as a backup and I've got Megalopony as a backup. And in the end I drafted the Megalopony because it's always a nightmare to prep for. It's got great offensive pressure with 135 speed and 136 physical attack, making it very fast and hitting very hard. It got decent defensive stats with 94, 96. It can either do damage and pivot out, or it can set up and pivot out. What setup did it get? Mainly work up and agility. Well, agility is not really that necessary, so I guess if I want to set up, I go for work up or power punches. And with Scrappy I can hit the things that normally resist and have an immunity against normal typing, so Steel type, Rock type, and Ghost typing. I can hit for at least neutral damage, and most of the time even for super effective damage with a fighting type. So Steel type super effective, Rock super effective, Ghost for neutral, Dark I hit for super effective damage, and the things that take neutral damage from normal typing is always great. So that was a nice starting point for my draft, and after Lopunny I picked Lopunny, I had to wait 34 picks before it came back to me, and I saw a futuristic Pokemon that always fills a lot of roles in a draft, and that is Iron Threads, aka Elon Tusk. By the way, Megalopony's name will be, depending on his gender, Bro Bunny or Ho Bunny. Iron Threads is to start off with Physical Mon with 112 in attack and 120 in defense. Base 106 speed is also pretty decent. Outspeeding everything from, of course, 100 and above, so that's also already a pretty big pool of Pokemon. It can be offensive and defensive with these stats, and it can spin, so I can get rid of hazards, which Lopunny couldn't do so far, and it can set up hazards, something Lopunny couldn't do as well, so that's something nice. And the ground and steel typing gives it more resistances and immunities than types that can hit it for neutral or super effective damage, which is great. And after the threats, I was looking at something that combined well with threats and Megalopony. Megalopony doesn't have all that many weaknesses: Flying, Psychic and Fairy. well, Flying Psychic Fairy and Fighting, of course, but well, Fairy was already covered. Flying and Psychic was already covered, just the Fighting wasn't covered. And yeah, Fire, Water, Fighting and Ground wasn't really covered by the low pony. So next up I drafted something I am very familiar with, and that is Wash Out the Rotom Wash. So yeah, looking at his synergy with the Iron Threads, Fire and Water are resisted, Ground is an immunity, and it's just the Fighting type weakness I have at this point. Looking at stats, it can be both offensive and defensive, with 107 in both defense and special defense, and 105 special attack is something to basically not sleep on. It only has one weakness in Grass, which I do not have any resistance for yet, but I can assure you that will come in the future. I have great experiences with it in the Burn Tower Draft League, and yeah, again, great synergy with the threads, and very versatile. Can trick, it can be Scarf, Sweeper, it can be just purely defensive and Willow things, so yeah. And after the wash I had to wait a long time again, and I was looking at my mons and I saw a pretty big special defensive gap that I wanted to be filled, and I went for Slime Shady, the Alolan Muck. Muck didn't cost all that much point, just 11 points. Something to keep in mind, during the draft we had not the standard 120 or 115 points, but 110. So we had a little less points to spend. That was purely a choice from the commissioners to make the middle tier Pokemon shine more, which you will probably see from this point on in the draft. That did work out pretty well, draft-wise. Yeah, it's a grounded poison type mon, so I had something to absorb toxic spikes, and this thing does that pretty damn well. It's got great defensive typing with only the ground weakness. That makes another Pokemon with great synergy for the Rotom Wash, because Rotom Wash only has the one weakness in grass, and my Muck takes that pretty well. 105 HP, 105 attack and 100 special defense makes this a pretty bulky special defensive wall with only a ground weakness. 3 abilities in Gluttony, Poison Touch and Power of Alchemy. Well, that last one is pretty much unusable, I feel like, at least for singles. Gluttony could be something I can use in certain matchups, but normally I think I'll run Poison Touch, which is great because that gives you a 30% chance to poison your enemy, your opponent's Pokemon when you touch them. And with a very physical Pokemon, because 65 is going towards a non-usable stat. So yeah, I think I started to create some good synergy between my mons. I have a Steel type for a Fairy Dragon Steel core. I have a Water type for a Water Fire Grass core. My main concern now is the big speed gap between the Mega Lopunny and the Iron Threads. And I still had a pretty decent ground type weakness with a single immunity and 2 weaknesses. So I decided to draft Talonflame, the Talonflame. May switch it up to Fox or Phoenix. For now I find the name Talonflame pretty funny, and if he does well, I think I will think over switching his name to Fox or Phoenix. But until now, for now, it's Talonflame, and Talonflame fits pretty decent, nicely between the Mega Lopunny and the Iron Threads. 135 Mega Lopunny, 126 for Talonflame, and 106 for the Iron Threads. So not great, but not bad either. 81 attack and 74 special attack means he is a mixed attacker. I can run either Swords Dance, I believe, on him. Yeah, I can run Swords Dance, I can run Bulk Up and Home Claws. But if I want to set up on the special side, I am bound to Work Up. Which I can run a mixed Talonflame set. Again, great synergy with the Rotom. Rotom having the one weakness to grass, which I double resist with Talonflame. Water and electric are not very effective and neutral. The rock weakness is great with the threads that double resist it, so... Oh, and threads also has an immunity for electric. So another great synergy pair there. Also fun to notice, even though his defenses aren't that great with 78 HP, 71 defense, 69 special defense. Nice. It can be a decent physical wall if I run Flame Body, which it has. So I take a hit, Flame Body pops, and I burn my opponent. Or I can go full offensive with Roost and Gale Wings, Roost up, get Gale Wings activated again, and go for priority Brave Bird or something. So yeah, Talonflame was my 5th Pokemon, so I had to wait again for a lot of turns. And right now I have 2 Defoggers, because this is National Dex, so Rotom can learn Defog in that. I have a Defogger in Talonflame, but I only had 1 Rapid Spinner in the Threads, and I don't want to rely on Threads solely, and I don't want him Rapid Spin bound. So I decided to draft another spinner, and I needed a spin blocker because I want to punish anything that tries to remove my hazards. So I went for Delmice, and I wanted for something a little funny, so I went for the name Smoke the Seaweed. Yeah, I'm hilarious, I know. It's an amazing spin blocker because he is he's a ghost type, and other spin blockers are also ghost type, so it's really a mind game, or I can start mind games. Do I go for Rapid Spin for himself and get rid of hazards, or do I predict you to go into your spin blocker and fire off a huge poltergeist and just annihilate your spin blocker? And that's a amazing mind game to play with your opponent. Another great thing about this Pokemon is that it has 3 step types because of his Steelworker ability. So he has Step, Ghost Step, Grass, and Step Steel type. Looking at synergy, it's a defensive tool to block fighting type moves for the Lopunny and the Iron Threads right now. It's another ground resist. I have 2 immunities right now and 2 weaknesses, so another ground resist is pretty nice. And I have a bit of experience with using Delmice, so maybe 40 speed may look a little bit bad, but I do think this thing is pretty workable, even though especially with 100 defense, 90 special defense, 131 attack, it can sponge a hit and deal a lot of damage, so that's always nice. Only thing I'm not that sure about Dhelmise is that I don't know how well it can use status moves in games. So right now I'm just going to check that on a site. Pain Split is pretty nice. It can synthesis up. It can Swords Dance, Switcheroo, which I always like to run those disturbance of the How do you say it correctly? English is hard today, apparently. Roleplay to get another ability. Endure could be funny to use, especially if I also can use Endeavor, which I cannot, so that's too bad. But still, Dhelmise is a pretty decent pickup for the 10 points that it's worth. So yeah, I completed my Fire, Water, Grass core with Rotom-Wash, Talonflame and Dhelmise. I just had the Steel type and I wanted to complete work on my Fairy, Steel and Dragon core. I had a bunch of Fairy types. Those were all around the 10 and 11 point mark. I was looking at Grimmsnarl at that moment, but I already had a Dark type. I was looking at Mimikyu because also good spin block, but I already had a Ghost type in Dhelmise. Gardevoir was an option, but I was also eyeing up other Psychic types. Florges, just a pure Fairy type, which is a great mon in its own right. But I went for a little cheaper option, and I knew that people would hate me when I pick it up, but I just wanted to try it out for myself, and that is Comfey, aka Floral Demon. His base stat total is not all that much to look at with 485, and at this point I'm going to check. Yeah, my sound is still working, because somewhere around this point my recordings, me recording, well, I was recording without sound basically. So this is my second attempt. My first attempt I still have to remove from YouTube, but still. Comfey, Floral Demon. It was another defog option, so I had my third defog option at that point, which is also always very nice. Flower Veil is whatever for an ability, but Trias is something I really look forward using. It gives you priority healing moves, so priority Draining Kiss, priority Giga Drain. So yeah, I'm pretty curious how well Comfey will do without a Terra, without it being able to terrestrialize. Normally, if this was a league where I could Terra, I would blindly choose this as my Terra captain, but I can't, so just curious if Comfey knows more than the Draining Kiss and Giga Drain for draining type moves. Yes, Draining Kiss, I already knew that. Giga Drain as well. Leech Seed is a way of draining HP. Not sure if that gets priority, but something I can use this season to learn. It gets stored power with the Calm Mind, which is also very nice. U-Turn, Trick Room, Trick. Can use Toxic. Celebrate. Yeah, let's do that. Floral Healing heals the target 50%. Not all that great, I think. Aren't there any other healing moves? Pollen Puff, but I'm not playing doubles, so yeah, those are pretty much the only healing moves I can use. Base 90 defense, base 110 special defense are pretty decent, so I can be a pretty bulky set. 82 special attack leaves to be desired, but if I can get a Calm Mind or 2 up, this thing will be very annoying to take down because of his healing and the stat boosts that it got. So looking forward to using it because it's is mostly seen as a demon spawn. So at this point I had, and I have to think really good, 23 points left after 7 picks. And this was the point in the draft where I started to make strategic choices in how do I want to continue the draft. I had basically 2 months already locked in my mind that I wanted, and the third month was a toss-up between 2 psychic types. Most other teams just were very low on points at this point in the draft, so I decided to go for my lowest point mon first, and that was the Relicanth. And Mr. Beautiful here may not look like something very impressive because of his speed stat, but this thing tied my team together very nicely. And you might wonder why. Right now I have only the Iron Threads that can set up Stealth Rocks, and Mr. Beautiful gives me Stealth Rocks options, which is nice on itself. I can get them up for Ensured with Sturdy, which is always very nice, but his other 2 abilities are things that make me want to use this thing much more, and those are Swift Swim and Rock Head. Swift Swim doubles his speed stat in rain, so if I can get it in rain, this thing can hit fast and hard. And if you haven't looked, 90 base base attack isn't all that great, but it does get some big physical moves like Double Edge, Earthquake, Head Smash. Only thing that it does not get what I would have liked to see was Wave Crash. Yeah, maybe in another gen, but who knows. It can set up using Skill Shot to boost his mediocre speed at best. It can go for Rock Head, like I said, Head Smashes. Normally does half the damage that he dealt recoil, but with Rock Head that's negated. Combine that with Double Edge. Are there any other recoil moves, just to be sure? Double Edge, Head Smash. Yeah, I saw already Takedown, which is whatever. But yeah, pretty interesting to use. So yeah, this thing was a 2-point pick, and I thought it was pretty valuable. So yeah, I was 8 months in, so some coaches went into their last rounds, and this was the point I thought, okay, let's complete my Fairy Dragon Steel Core with the Rabo Tower Duraludon. For people who don't know, I am not really from Utrecht, but a little suburban town just above Utrecht, and yeah, looking at all the big cities in the Netherlands, Utrecht is kind of my city, just to say it that way. We have right now 2 big towers in Utrecht, well, basically 3 if you count City Hall, but it's kinda combined with the Rabo Tower and Central Station. First is the Dom Tower, and the Dom Tower is a big ancient medieval yeah, church tower, reaching over 120 meters, I believe, with over 300 steps to take to get to the top. So that is the oldest and highest tower in the city, and kind of the pride of Utrecht, basically. But like I said, it's ancient. We have a tower from a bank that got as close to it as possible as the government would allow. So yeah, basically the government said you can build to a certain point, but you cannot go above the old Dom Church tower. So they built it close to it, and that's the Rabo Tower. And yeah, that's the name that it got, and why it get it, because again, Utrecht, lovely city of the Netherlands. But enough geography and history lessons for you. Talking about Duraludon, and Duraludon is a Eviolite abuser. 115 base defense is already pretty big, given it a Eviolite, and that goes up to, well, 55 up at least, so you get around 170 defense, and base 75 special defense is pretty decent, so that makes Duraludon pretty hard to take down without using knockoff. Besides that, it has a great typing with a fighting and ground weakness as the only thing that's weak for. It gives me a third stealth rock option, and finally something that has dragon stab. Something I was lacking, so not something I was at the start of the draft really looking forward to use, but yeah, like I said, when in Rome, this thing fitted pretty well on my team, so I went for it, and yeah, Archelidon was pretty much gone the first round, so looking at his abilities, light and heavy metal are situational, and stalwart is not really for singles. That's stalwart makes so you can't get your moves redirected, but there's only one target, and that's the one in front of you, so yeah, that's whatever. Anything else to say about Duraludon? Yeah, nothing much actually. This was my 9th mon, so I had to wait again, and this is where I took a gamble. I had still the toss up between two psychic type mons. One was 11, one is 10 points, and there were at that point 3 other coaches that could snipe me, because all other coaches did not have the points to basically take either mon. So I had a small chance of getting sniped at this point, and I was already asking 2 other coaches. I believe it was Mana I asked, and Patrick, and they both said like, nah, you good, not really interested in those 2 mons. So the night before I sent it in, one of my choices, Yuxi, which was the 11-point mon, and yeah, after I went to bed, I saw I wasn't even close of getting to that pick, so I went to work, and yeah, during work I got the ping that it was my turn, and I saw Mana already said from okay, he wanted Yuxi, and all day I was thinking to myself, do I really want Yuxi or do I want the other one? And in the end, somewhere around noon, I decided I wanted the other one, and Mana posted around 5 o'clock. So One man has posted like he wanted Juxi. I was like, no, I changed my mind, sorry. I want Mesprit, the therapist. Why Mesprit and not Juxi? Right now, in the draft without Mesprit, I had summons hitting above 100 special attack. Those were the Rotom Wash and Duraludon. And I didn't want to basically have to run special Talonflame or special something else that can be mixed. Dalmice could basically be mixed with 86 special attack. Threats could be special with 72 special attack. But yeah, I did not have a lot of special attacking power, and even though Mesprit is mixed with both 105 in special attack and attack, I wanted a bit more firepower because I felt like my defenses were strong enough. Without Juxi and Mesprit, I had on physical defense Relicanth, Dalmice, Duraludon, Rotom and the Iron Threats with a base 100 or higher defense, and I had Comfey, Rotom Wash and Muk with 100 or higher special defense, with Megalopunny and Dalmice getting close to that with 96 and 90. So yeah, defensively I wasn't that worried and I wanted more special attack, so I went with Mesprit, which also left me with a single point. Well, first Mesprit, I get another Stealth Rocker, which is number 4, and I finally felt like, okay, I got enough Stealth Rocks. This is okay. I have enough options to get up hazards. I don't have spikes or toxic spikes or even sticky webs, but that's okay. I don't feel like I need it that much. So normally I'm not really a big spike and toxic spike setter, so yeah, I feel like it's whatever. This thing is great with setup with Mystic Power. They're new from Legend Arceus signature move. It can either Calm Mind and Nasty Plot as well to get special attacking boosts. It can fire off stored powers after that to abuse their heightened special attack. And yeah, like I said, this left me with a single point, and yeah, I was still at work and contemplating. I was going over that 1 point column in the draft document, and yeah, nothing much special, honestly, until I got to the almost near the end, and then it hit me. I saw it, I typed it into my draft document, and let me say, it felt good adding it. And it's I give you some spoilers. It's a prankster user. Yeah, for 1 point you can't expect great stats, but it does only have 3 weaknesses. Only weakness I'm a little bit concerned about is the fire weakness, because that makes 3 fire weak Pokemon to 3 resistances, so that's not that great, but still decent. Yeah, if you haven't guessed it right now, I went for Volbeat. Still counting. If you don't know the reference, just search for Volbeat Still Counting and you'll get it. Great prankster support mon. For 1 point, I felt like this thing could really give that little extra boost to the team, and be something I can kind of reliably use in my draft, mainly because of Prankster, of course. Looking at all the status moves it has, I have priority switch out with baton pass. I have priority defog. I can reliably encore something, so get you to basically keep setting up until you switch out, because it will not let you do anything else. Priority light screen, priority healing with moonlight, or roost. Either one of the two is good. Substitute with priority tail glow, tailwind, taunt, thunderwave, toxic trick. If I want to risk it, attract, why not? I can even go for trick rain dance to support my Relicanth. So yeah, the options are pretty big with the Volbeat, so I am kind of surprised that it only costed me a point. And I think, like I keep saying, it's a great addition to the team. So yeah, that leaves me with this team. Like you can see, I do not have... I have pretty good type synergy with, yeah, just Ghost and Fire being not all that well covered, but still I have as much resistance as I have weaknesses to it. Looking at my type here, or my stats, attack and defense are pretty high. Yeah, the reason that is because my special attackers are all have still decent physical attack. Like Duraludon is a special attacker with 95 base attack. Talonflame can be 81 or 74. Yeah, Volbeat is more of a physical attacker with a great special setup. But looking at the special side, my physical attackers do not have great special attack. So my special attack looks kind of low, because Mega Lopunny 54, Threat 72 is a kind of a big difference. Volbeat 47, Relicanth 45. So that drags that drags it a bit down. And yeah, I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, nothing really high in the BST department, nothing like 600 or above, but still a yeah, decent base total pool, with 430 from Volbeat being the lowest, but it's not all that important for my, I feel like. After that, the lowest is 485 from Relicanth and Comfey, 499 Talonflame, and everything above is 500 like Alolan Muk or higher, so yeah, pretty good. So yeah, that's the team. Really looking forward to this season. I don't think I have the strongest team, but I think, especially with 12 teams being able to qualify for playoffs, I feel like I can at least make playoffs. And watch me get punished really hard for saying that, losing my first 3 battles and just feel like I am on the back foot again after saying I can make playoffs. But yeah, that's the team. I hope you will enjoy watching me play with it. And I hope yeah, to see you all during regular season that starts next Monday, I believe. So yeah, let me know what you think of the team. What is something you are excited to see me use, and what will definitely underperform for your you feel. And yeah, let's go to week 1. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!